about 10 years before I did The Sims. In fact, I started The Sims in '93. I started it a long, long time ago and worked on it kind of in the background for many years. But 2 years previous, in 1991, our home burned down in the Oakland Hills fire. And we lost everything. I got out with a few pictures and that was it. So from square one, we had to kind of build our lives back up. We had to go, kind of buy a house, then buy furniture, buy clothes, buy buy a new car, all the stuff that had burned up in the fire. And it was interesting just kind of looking at the order in which, we acquired things. Step one, new underwear, toothbrush, Step two, maybe some new pants and shirts, and then, step three, rent a hotel room and kind of building your life back up, and getting a sense of the materialistic basis, and which things are really important in a minute-to-minute basis. At the same time, we got out of the fire safely and my daughter was elsewhere and she was safe. And we realized how meaningless these material things were relative to our safety. And so that was just, very interesting, that whole process that happened, a couple years before I started thinking about doing The Sims.
The most exciting part of The Sims 2 is how much we're putting into The Sims themselves. They are the focus of the game, and that's what people want. They have much more depth to their personality. They are aware of their surroundings. They respond to their surroundings, the events that take place, the relationships that they have with the other Sims in the room.
You're going to know when someone's a slob. You're going to know when somebody is really nice. You're going to know when somebody is really active. You're going to see that on the screen and the way that the Sims behave.
They can react to things such as a spider being in the room that they might be afraid of. Another Sim who has gotten into a bit of hygiene failure and is getting a bit smelly, they're going to walk by and just, whew, that's not good.
The Sims in Sims 2, first of all, they have distinguishable facial features which the player can actually control and create. In addition to that, they now have facial animations, so you can see them smile, you can see them frown. They're just much more alive than they were in Sims 1.
There's been a huge amount of improvement made in the ability to create the environment that these better Sims are going to live in.
One of the first things that players will notice in Sims 2 is that the environment is a full 3D world. And I don't want to say, oh, it's in 3D and that's why it's better, but it's amazing how much more connected players are going to feel to that world because you can zoom in and out of it and rotate around it, and it never disappears from the screen. You've always got that house that you've created and the characters that you've created, and you can look at them at any angle, and it makes it a much more compelling experience because you just feel so connected to what's on the screen and it feels so real.
One of the cool things with Sims 2 is the new camera features where it lets you get in really close and really become intimate with your Sims and what's going on in those settings.
With sexy looking Sims like this, you want to get up close and personal.
I'm already starting to plan out the movies that I'm going to make within The Sims 2.
If you look at the best-selling games of the last few years, we're getting games that are much more open-ended where the player really determines their fate and they're not on rails. You might have missions, you might have goals, but anytime you can kind of break away from that and go off and do something really goofy or twisted. And then you can show that to other people. You can save it and then kind of upload it or take screenshots or whatever. But I think, the idea that you're playing a game and you can find kind of regions of that gameplay that nobody's ever been to before. Then you're kind of an explorer. You're exploring this vast possibility space. And my favorite games all had that feeling for me that I was exploring this vast space of possibilities. And in doing so, I could be fairly creative. I could go off into areas of the game that maybe the designers didn't intend me to go off into.
We don't plan for everything. We don't. I mean, so much of the magic of this game is that we have this open world, this sandbox, and there's AI that controls the way that the Sims interact with their world, but we don't capture every instance.
Even now, when we're playing The Sims, they feel a little out of control at times. You get a Sim who's barfing while you're trying to make food in the kitchen.
I think one of the primary things we want to do with The Sims 2 is we want to build that community around the game, or continue the community from The Sims 1 into The Sims 2 just as strong, and find out ways to interface with the community to make it even stronger, and give the fans ways to be even more creative in the game and to share more stuff, because I think that is really the story behind the success of The Sims.
The people who really live to make content for other people. We love those people. Those people are really, really important to us, and we're working very hard in The Sims 2 to make much more powerful ways for those people to get involved.
Players have really told us over time, and we do listen to the fans of The Sims quite a bit, that they want to see their Sims change. They also want to have the sense that they can influence the lives of their Sims.
The way your sim develops, from toddler to kid, to teen, to adult, to senior, and the way you organize their life as they develop can make for pretty big changes. So, if your kid doesn't get enough attention from mom and dad, boy, the teenage angst, the slamming doors and the ignoring the parents and kind of dyeing your hair black and wearing leather and hanging out with the bad kids, they get kind of out of control.
Sims 2 is going to allow Sims players to experience that whole range of a lifetime and all the experiences that roll up into that that they couldn't do before.
The kids who are the wild teenagers, who actually don't die as teenagers, they're the most creative adults. As you know, there's nobody in Hollywood or in the video game business who was a straight A student in high school. You can play through childhood, save, and then try to get as dysfunctional as you can as a teenager, or have as a happy, yum teenage life as you can, and see where that leads. Go back to the kid and now say, okay, now I'm going to see if I do something different. So there are way more branching lives in Sims 2.